That's a good question, Dorian. Pacing from the DM's perspective, I think that it's actually, I mean, it's not too dissimilar to sort of um, speech in general. And the simplest way to say it is that oftentimes the best way to communicate, usually one of the first mistakes that people will make, is they talk too fast. And generally speaking, everybody, especially if you haven't thought about it in a while, could do for slowing themselves down. It's usually better. Now, obviously, you can go overboard with that and it can become its own sort of frustrating thing. But oftentimes, in speech, right, slow down, talk slower, allow people to hear and sort of digest what you're saying because we think faster than like the speed that we're thinking at, we try to match that with our talking, and that's usually what shows through as like nervousness and stuff like that. At the table, though, it's so crucial because you have to provide gaps for players. And sometimes that involves probably not like it's better to be slower with how you speak than it is to create these like big gaps of silence, right? You don't want people to feel awkward, but you want to make sure that people feel like they have an opportunity to slip in an idea or a thought or a question or what have you. So that's the first thing I'd say, right? If you have the feeling that the pacing is not correct, thinking about the portions that you're adding is saying, okay, am I leaving room for somebody to throw something in there? And then on the other side of that, the that's sort of like avoid the negative, but on the positive side of that, how many opportunities are you creating for your players to kind of throw their hat in the ring? One of the most useful, I think, uh, things to keep in mind is that players sometimes have ideas of their own, but often players are sort of waiting for something that they can react to. And so sometimes a good way to analyze a session is to say, okay, as I'm planning this out, how many things are the players getting an opportunity to react to? Because reacting to something is infinitely easier to do than an original it sounds bad, an original thought. But if you put people into your, infinitely expanding world, they can do anything. And you just put them there and you say, okay, guys, what do you want to do? You'll most of the time get a lot of blank stares. Maybe you'll have somebody who's kind of halfway trolling the table and they're going to want to go off and do some stuff. And you're going to kind of internally groan like, why did I even ask that? I was asking for this trouble. But if you put those same people into your world and then goblins burst into the room, you're probably not going to have blank stares and people are going to start thinking, they're going to start looking at what's in front of them, they're going to start thinking about, well, what would be neat, what would be helpful, what else is in the room. They're going to start asking and interrogating your world through you. So sometimes to adjust that pacing up or down, you can look at it as, okay, are there enough opportunities for players to react to things? Are there enough gaps for them to put themselves into these scenes? Or on the other side, are there too many, right? Because sometimes that can overtake a session. You go, well, that session now, when you say that that's we want the pacing to feel appropriate. Well, that can go in either direction, right? Sometimes there's too much room. And then you can correct on the other direction and say, well, I'm going to remove opportunities for them to inject themselves into this because I want to take us to the next day or take us to the next week even. I think I really felt like it was sort of a revelation in terms of game pacing when I realized that, oh, I can just, like, when the party finishes this arc, when they come out of the dungeon and have saved the whoever and they've leveled up, well, I can just say, And it then takes you guys about a week to fully recover and prepare for what you decide to do next. And we can advance time. Now, granted, I also give them, you know, I give them that downtime to do with what they will. And obviously, I don't do this when they have like I try not to have like pending danger that requires daily, they got to do this, they got to do this. I'm not taking them out of the game. But once I realize that, I kind of own time, I can make 30 seconds take 2 sessions to get through because of combat. I can also, in 30 seconds, jump us ahead a whole week, right? And then that makes everything feel a little bit more truthy, right? Or realistic. Perpetual state of fear. That's one way to look at it, Gibson. Yep.